This is the we're going to start again. No. This is the Christian Men's Illustrated podcast. We're just going to go with it. Sometimes you make mistakes, right?
That's right.
Life is imperfect. We are grateful that you're listening to the podcast. We got Jake Waters. We got Greg Walden. We got myself, Jeremiah Johnson. Big weekend for me, coming off a three-peat myself. I don't know if Pat Mahomes will get to where I'm at, but I am now a 3-time cornhole champion.
What?
As of Sunday afternoon. So my son Isaiah and I, we were back-to-back champs at Grace Point, our local church. And, yeah, we did the three-peat. We pulled it off. It was a big tournament, man. There was, I don't know how many teams there were. There was a lot more than the last few years, and we pulled it off. So
was everybody getting serious?
Oh, yeah. Everyone would want to take me down, talking smack about me, and coming for me. So that's what it's like when you're on top of the mountain. Everyone's just coming at you, you know. Yeah. It's harder to stay up there than it is to get there. Let me just say that, right? So we are three-peat champions.
So my question is, they're gonna start hitting it for commercials and stuff?
Right. I gave credit to Coach Prime, so I got the Rolex on, I got the jewelry, got the necklace, and so shout out to Coach Prime. He really helped me get through it. He's been an inspiration to me personally this year. So shout out to Coach Prime, and let's see Pat Mahomes. I told the boys, like, maybe my son Isaiah, maybe the Chiefs will have us come in as like motivational speakers for the Chiefs, you know, to be like, hey, we want to welcome some three-peat champions to maybe give us a little inspiration so that we can ourselves pull it off this year. And we'll get into that. The Chiefs lost.
Yeah,
in just a minute.
They need that encouragement. Really bad.
All right. Lots of stuff to talk about. I want to talk about first and foremost, so many people have already commented on it, but we do have to give our take on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. You watched it, didn't you?
I watched a lot of the highlights. I watched
a
fight before. I watched one of the ones that were in there. I ended up having to go to bed. I watched pretty much all of it.
Okay.
But
get that mic just hair close to your mouth there.
Okay, did you see the thing, and it's hearsay because obviously we didn't actually see the contract that they wrote up.
Okay.
But that if Mike knocked out Jake Paul first round, he wouldn't get paid at all.
Okay. I it's interesting. In the Instagram, I get lost in the Instagram reels sometimes. Mm-hmm. I watched a bunch of these videos where people said it was like set up conspiracy theory. Like they're showing these different movements where Tyson could have laid him out, but he pulled back. I don't know. I mean, here's what I will say. The production value was spectacular of the whole Netflix. I didn't watch the whole Netflix thing, but I watched pieces of it, and I was having glitching problems when I was trying to watch it live. Mm-hmm. I had to go watch it the next day. But the production value was off the charts. If Netflix keeps doing that with like realer, better fights, I'm all in, man. I'll keep the Netflix subscription for sure. And WWE's going over to Netflix. Anyway, so from that, the production value off the charts. I thought it was amazing. Cowboys Stadium. That was all good. But you know, I hate Jake Paul in that he didn't really get me to drink the Kool-Aid, but he did get us all to drink the Kool-Aid to think just maybe Tyson would have like 5 seconds, right?
Right.
That maybe that 5-10 seconds of Tyson would knock him out or something like that.
Yep.
But what we saw was a 60-year-old man
kind
in a boxing ring.
Well, they say the next the next match is going to be Jake Ryan versus 90-something-year-old Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, Joe Biden, whatever. I've seen a lot of those. Yeah,
I've seen the one Jimmy Carter, 100-year-old Jimmy Carter.
But he's smart, dude. I mean, when you look at he's beat nobody. So here again, I would say this if Jake Paul was in the room because he could beat me in boxing. I know that. But anyway, I will say he's a pro fighter. But I'll say he's a mid-level, lower to mid-level pro fighter because the only legit boxer he has fought is Tommy Fury. Mm-hmm. And Tommy Fury is just the same dude. He's fighting KSI YouTubers. He's not fighting real boxers.
Okay.
Tommy Fury. That's Tyson Fury's little brother.
Okay.
Half brother, whatever it is. He looks like a god, dude. And
really?
We only believe in the one true God. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. But I mean, he looks and he has good boxing skills. And he easily beat Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Soundly.
I thought
and he's a mid-level pro.
I was shocked that Tyson didn't win. Because Tyson, even though he's in his age,
I feel like he was holding back.
I do think he held back a little bit, but he's 60, bro. 60 years old.
Did you see his practices, though?
Yeah.
It seemed like he should at least come out and just wailed on him for give 2 good rounds, you know?
That's weird.
Okay, this might help you understand, Greg Walden. Imagine me versus you in mountain biking without your e-bike. That's what it was like. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Smack talk.
3-time cornhole champion. So, man, but if I was Jake Paul though, keep doing it. They said he made 30 to 40 million on that fight. Just keep doing that.
Yep.
Why fight legit boxers?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You don't need to be one.
Nope.
Just keep doing that. So if I'm on his team, his business team, like find people that sound good, look good, that we can create a little storyline, get people hyped up. But it will be interesting. I should pull this up. So did you have any thoughts on that? That's what I thought. I mean, the fight itself was really boring.
Yeah.
Only 2 minute rounds. But check this out. This was out of ESPN.com. Netflix says 60 million households worldwide watch Tyson Paul. That's huge, bro.
Yep.
That is huge. Friday night's Jake Paul showdown apparently packed a major punch across the world. Streaming giant Netflix said Saturday that 60 million households tuned in to live. Sorry, I'm trying to read too fast. Watch YouTube return prize fighter Paul 27 cruise to a unanimous decision over Tyson, the 58-year-old heavyweight champion at Arlington, Texas. The fight peaked at 65 million current streams. So you can read through this article, but essentially that's big. So what I will tell you, this is coming out of this. Netflix is going to be doing more specials like this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's cool. That's cool because you only had to pay the regular fee. I mean, I have a week left before my subscription is canceled once again on Netflix, but I didn't have to pay anything for it.
Yeah.
And if on UFC right now, you're paying, I think 40, 50, 60 for pay-per-view, et cetera. So
yep.
Did you see like at the minute and 20-minute mark when they was it Jake Ryan?
Jake Paul?
Jake Paul punched Mike Tyson in the gut, and then Holyfield's air popped out of Mike Tyson's mouth. That's a joke.
Little extra, still stuck in his teeth, maybe years later or whatever it might be. But
I actually watched that fight.
Yeah, I did too.
I watched
that.
Holyfield.
Was it good?
Because I was married to my ex-wife at the time, and I guess our neighbors invited us to come watch it. So they did all the pay-per-view stuff. We got there, like 45 seconds, it's done. He bit off off a chunk of Holyfield's ear, and that was
what
gone.
round did it happen in?
It was like 45 seconds. That was all it lasted.
That's when he was just losing his mind going downhill. But come on, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, original Nintendo.
It's the best.
That's back in the day when Tyson was Tyson.
Yeah.
There was nothing like it. I mean, when he was in it, that's why I don't want to watch this stuff. You want to remember your heroes as your heroes. You want to remember him as that nasty dude that just took people out in seconds. So the fight was really pretty boring to me. I watched the whole thing, analyzed it, broke it down a little bit here and there. Wasn't too much to me. Like I said, Jake Paul's growing. He's learning as a fighter. But I'm telling you, dude, if he was with a pro, like a hungry pro, his size, heavyweight, no.
He ain't getting it.
Nope, not going to happen. So anyway, he doesn't care. What does he care if we say? He's just stacking
it in,
stacking dollars. And then he's got his brother Logan Paul and all that kind of stuff. So,
and then there's Pastor Jeremiah, 3-time cornhole champion.
Cornhole champion. I got a trophy, and I have fake Temu jewelry. So, although shout out to, I was watching a Jake Paul interview. He when he was first getting started, he said he wore like fake jewelry and fake shoes, like he got off China and stuff like that. So
really?
I'm on the same path, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there's hope for
I'll get there. I'm still working my way through that kind of thing. So there you go. And then the other big fight, which I didn't watch, but I caught a bunch of highlight reels, was the GOAT John Jones in the UFC.
Yes.
Gets the win over Stipe Miocic, and he does the Trump dance after the victory. Yeah. He does two things. Number one, he does the Trump dance. Number two, he gives all the glory to Jesus Christ right away. Yeah. Did you see that? Although I'm a little uncomfortable John Jones doing that because he has a very shady past in history and still does shady, weird things, but then he's like, man, I love Jesus so much. And I'm like,
you also know that Trump was there and he actually gave Trump his championship belt.
Dude, so the coolest part of it is Trump. UFC loves Trump.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So they did the whole entrance, the walk-in with Trump, Dana White, Elon, RFKJ, his son was there, Kid Rock. Dude, they all come in there to American, you know what, Bad Boy song, and the place is going nuts, and they show a whole video tribute. So,
yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty dope.
And how stupid! I keep telling my wife. No, we're talking about this today at lunch. How stupid is the media? They are just trying to perpetuate that Trump is just this horrible person, and get sick of reading these articles every day.
And just Trump derangement syndrome, it never ends.
Yep. That was a super cool moment. And I think, and then they were saying a lot of the NFL guys were doing the Trump dance.
Really?
Yeah.
Touchdown dances, a lot of tributes to Trump. So,
Trump
getting the love.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Go.
We should do a short. We should do a video short after we record. doing the Trump dance together. We'll put that on the Christian Men's Illustrated shorts.
Yeah.
Which please go to our YouTube channel. I'm putting more stuff. I'm putting more stuff on our YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this, there's some shorts on there. I'm also starting to do some like gear reviews and stuff like that. People interested in doing your own podcast, slapping that up on the Christian Men's Illustrated YouTube channel. So there's a variety of stuff on our YouTube channel. Please go check that out. Speaking of money, I did pull this one up just because I thought it was a little bit interesting. Bill, are you guys Bill Gates fans? I'm not really a Bill Gates fan, but he is rich, okay? And I found this article that says this is going to be, we're going to walk out of this room today and hop on our computers. This article said billionaire Bill Gates has 80% of his $45 billion portfolio in just 4 stocks. Would you like to know what those 4 stocks are so that you can invest in them? Number 1, Microsoft, 27%.
Yep.
Not a surprise there. Number 2, got any other guesses?
Apple?
I would say some kind of a food company, like meat, like some kind of meat or.
Okay, number 2 on the list is Berkshire Hathaway, 23%. The Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway. So he's got 23% in there. Number 3, any other guesses? Number 3 is Waste Management, 16%.
Huh.
And then number 4, rounding out his top 4, which we should all go and invest in, is the Canadian National Railway with 13% of
He
his
knows
investment.
something that we don't, for sure.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of these people probably do. I mean,
So run home today. Go. I'm not surprised by the Berkshire Hathaway. Not surprised by the Microsoft, but definitely surprised by the Waste Management and then the Canadian National Railway. So, Greg, are you going to go invest in this? You don't really need to. You're a government employee. You're all taken care of. We talked about that before the podcast. So everything's in line for you. Well, do you think, though, you think Trump's going to come for you? Are you really worried about that? Or I think you're fine.
Well, I mean,
you're an upper level employee.
Well, I'm not. Well, I wouldn't say upper level, but
yeah, you got the G9. What is it? The G1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
GS. Well, GS is just general service. That's just
okay.
That's your basically your.
But it goes up to
basically your blue collar.
The top of it is GS what?
15.
And you're
14.
Oh, see,
balling. Yeah.
Told you, Greg. Stop denying what you are, man. Just embrace your identity, okay?
No, I just thank Jesus for my job. I thank
That's
Jesus
right.
for my job, and just go wherever God leads, man.
All right. Well, let's bounce our fight game and let's go over to sports game now. NFL, yes, the Chiefs lost. Did you guys check this game out? Why they keep playing this game and it came back to bite them.
Yep.
They had that 4th and 2. The Bills, like, oh, if they stop them. They're going down, getting the field goal.
Well, Mahomes threw 2 interceptions.
Did he throw 2?
Threw
okay,
2,
I knew he threw three touchdowns.
It was like the second pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. It started. I think it was the game had just started, and he threw an interception.
Good.
Yeah, and then he threw that 4th down interception at the end of the game.
Yep.
Overall, I think if you're a Chiefs fan like my son is, I am too. I'm like, son, I keep telling him you don't want to go undefeated.
No,
you got to get 1 or 2 losses.
That's what I was
get him out
everybody.
of the way. This is a good one to get out of the way.
Yep.
Away game versus a really, really good team.
Yep.
It was super close, hanging in the balance. If this game is taking place in the playoffs, I'm still taking the Chiefs every time.
It was a really good game to watch. It was exciting.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know, man. The problem is that here's the thing: is that the Chiefs are only competitive this year. Is not because of their offense. Mahomes is being sloppy this year, man. Their offense. I mean, they do have some injuries that's kind of hurting them, but you have Kelsey's kind of being distracted. Kelsey is really not performing up to his usual standard.
Yeah, he's in emo land. He's just like,
And
the Taylor Swift effect is fully taken over. I think.
Mahomes is playing sloppy, and they're really the defense is what's really keeping them competitive this year. But I was telling Jake before the game, the Kansas City Chiefs Facebook page, I guess, like. They go, we feel like we can play better, so we'll get back to work and try to use this as a spark so that we can be a better football team in the end. So I'm like, well, I reply, how about actually improve versus telling everyone this after every game where the offense is stinking? Mm-hmm. And then I got a like from Rasheed Rice.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yep. So yeah.
I think it's good to get the loss out of the way there. Right. And there were some big games over the weekend as well. We had the Eagles with the win over the Commanders. The Commanders are starting to slip. Mm-hmm. They were looking like they were top dogs potentially in the NFC. They get beat by the Eagles. Packers get a win over the Bears. The Bears atrocious, 4-6. The Lions 52-6 over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah,
that's not a surprise, but 52-6, and Lions firmly putting themselves as the number one team in the NFC. And that was a big thing. See, that's why I think it's good for bouncing back the Chiefs. By them losing, now they have to be hungry. They have something to play for. If they would have won that game, they really had nothing to play for.
Yep.
Because everything was so locked in.
Well, I think you can't. The Chiefs. The problem with the Chiefs is I think they play that little cat and mouse thing. They play with the mouse a little bit, and then they have to really try to get it at the end, or they let the team get ahead. They usually the Chiefs will win in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. And you can't play that and expect, it's going to bite you. You're playing that way.
Yep.
You got to play 4 quarters of football, man. That's just the way it is.
Hey, coming from a 3-time cornhole champion, I know what the struggle is, man, to maintain that motivation. Championship motivation, it's a real thing. All right, the Chargers beat the Bengals 34-27. Big quarterback battle there, Burrow versus, who's their quarterback? I don't have it right in front of me.
Who?
For the Chargers?
Oh,
sorry, I'll have to bounce it up.
Herbert?
Yeah,
Herbert.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Justin Herbert, excuse me. So big quarterback battle there. And so a lot of good games that were going on there in the NFL as well.
Seahawks beat the 49ers.
Seahawks.
Geno Smith came in.
Geno Smith, another run by him, late game run, 20-17. We got the Broncos 38-6 or the Falcons. So they're starting to look really good.
Yep. Steelers
with a big dub over the Ravens, 18-16. So it's a very interesting time. Everything's starting to come into place in the next week or two. We'll start to see what seeds, or what, and who's going to be in the playoff picture, etc. The Buffalo Bills atop the AFC East. Pittsburgh Steelers on the AFC North now above the Baltimore Ravens. Houston Texans on top of the AFC South. That's kind of not a very competitive division there. Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to have to keep working because you got the Chargers, you got the Broncos coming at you. Over to the NFC, we have the Philadelphia Eagles firmly now after that win over the Commanders, 8-2. Detroit Lions, 9-1, one-loss team with the Kansas City Chiefs. NFC South, Atlanta Falcons, 6-5. Arizona Cardinals atop the NFC West, 6-4. So there you go so far in the NFL. Any other NFL thoughts? It was a great weekend of football.
It was.
Yeah.
College, fights, all kinds of good stuff going on. So
well, I do. High school news, we do have two sad stories. My Connequa lost. Connequa lost Friday, and then in Carthage also lost.
Yes, yeah. Man, I didn't happen to see that on ESPN. I don't know why, Greg Walden. I didn't see that. They didn't report on that. Come on.
I know. I'm just like, dude, when Connequa won their semifinal last week, it was the first time in 62 years school history they actually got that far. Okay. So they were really doing good. They were 12-0. They were rock and rolling, but then they went to Fort Wayne, and Fort Wayne only beat them by 3 points. So I mean, it was a pretty tight game, but
tightly contested.
But Fort Wayne got the last 3. But Carthage, Webb City seems to be Carthage's kryptonite in the playoffs for some reason.
Yep. All right, bouncing on college football. Did you guys watch some college football this weekend? I got a little bit in, but
Mizzou, and then I was watching all the highlights of the CU Buffs. Did you Travis Hunter?
Dude, he deserves the Heisman.
He's going pro.
He's going pro.
Yeah, for sure.
And he deserves the Heisman, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I mean,
I was watching him today. It was crazy.
Yeah, Colorado. This was the game. So I feel like I'm pretty analytical. I do my research when it comes to sports. I'm realistic in my predictions. I predicted the Colorado Buffaloes would be 8-4 for the season, and I thought that would be great. That would be really good. And it looks like if they go 10-2, they could make the playoffs, the college football playoffs.
Okay.
If they run the board. Yeah. And the 2 games I had them losing to in these last 4 games were Texas Tech and Utah. Utah is the top-rated defense in the Big 12, and they crush them 49-24.
Yeah.
And they actually they made some errors that game. So
good job, guys.
Deion taking over college football, and the rumors are starting to percolate. Will Deion go to the Dallas Cowboys as the head coach? This is starting to percolate.
Ooh,
what do you think?
That would be interesting.
I think so. My bold prediction on that is I do think Deion is going to have a firm command in who his son plays for. So if it's the Raiders, if it's the Carolina Panthers, I guarantee you they're going to say, just like Eli Manning did, just like John Elway did back in the day, we're not playing for you, so you're going to have to trade us.
Right.
I think that will happen. And the Cowboys is a pipe dream because I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be that bad. Because you got to keep in mind when it comes to NFL draft, It's according to win-loss record.
Right.
So it's not like the NBA where you have draft and ping pong balls, and you might be the 5th worst team, but you still could get the first pick in the NBA draft. That does not happen in the NFL. So I think it's not going to happen. But I think you never know.
Yeah.
I'd fire my head coach to bring Dion and his son.
Yeah, if the Cowboys keep losing, they'll have a pretty good shot at getting good picks next year.
Yeah. The top 25, you had Oregon, the number 1 team, only 16-13 over Wisconsin. That was kind of weird because they've been dropping like 40, 50 points, and they only win by a field goal. Ohio State, 31-7 over Northwestern. Texas, number 3, 20-10 over those Arkansas Hogs. We were close to Arkansas. Arkansas, as I've lived here longer and longer, I appreciate them more and more.
Yes.
They're a hard-working football team.
I kind of want to go see one of their games.
We should do that sometime.
It's Fayetteville, right?
Yeah.
So
It's not far.
Not that far at all.
Yep. Penn State, 49-10, my son's team. They're number 4. And then we got a big upset. My sons were born in Utah. Kansas upsets number 6 BYU. They were undefeated up to this game. Ooh. Kansas was 4-6, not even a ranked team, not even a winning team. That's going to kick those Mormons right out of the top 25, maybe. Probably not in the top 25.
That's KU?
Yeah, KU.
Yep.
We got Georgia with the win over Tennessee. That was a big win because Georgia was ranked number 12. Tennessee was number 7. So not a big upset, but Tennessee is going to get knocked down after that. Notre Dame, 35-14 over Virginia. Alabama rolled Tide, 52-7 over Mercer. I mean, that big surprise. Yep. Mercer, Mercer. I don't know. Yeah. That's like, what's your team? The high school team you're talking about? They should play Mercer.
That sounds like some kind of hospital or something.
Boise State with that lovely blue field, 42-21. SMU ranked number 14, 38-28 over Boston College. Texas A&M, number 15, 38-3 win over New Mexico State. Arizona State, 24-14 over Kansas State. So Arizona State was not ranked. Kansas State was. They get the victory. Colorado, 49-24 for Utah. A couple more here. Yeah, Washington State. Lost to New Mexico, 38-35.
The Cougars.
Yep. Number 19, Louisville lost to Stanford, 38-35. Then we had Clemson beats Pittsburgh, 24-20. And like you mentioned, number 23, Missouri gets the loss to South Carolina, 34-30.
Guys, come on, man.
Wacky year for Mizzou. They've been up, they've been down. Yeah. Probably going to bump them out of the top 25, wouldn't you say?
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're not making the play. No. Florida 27-16 over LSU. LSU takes a loss. And then number 25, Tulane gets a 35-0 victory over Navy. There's your top 25.
That Navy score was 0, right?
Yeah, 0.
That's pretty bad.
So, yeah, top, rolling through Colorado. I won't do the all top 25, but Colorado now moves up to number 16, so they're getting there. Oregon, number 1. Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, still number 5. Why don't you talk about Indiana instead of your high school team? Talk about Indiana University. Are you an IU fan or no?
I was a Mizzou. For college, I'm a Mizzou fan.
Okay. All right. No problem. Yep. So there we go. College football, it's just funny that Colorado is legit. Mm-hmm. And they're starting to get more commits, recruits, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Dude, have you been to Boulder before? You've been to Boulder, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
I love Boulder.
I used to live in Fort Collins and go there. I worked in
Boulder's beautiful.
Yeah.
You kind of got those flat rocks. The mountains are pretty close.
They're
right?
They're pretty
Am I
crazy
visualizing
people.
right?
It is beautiful, but the people are crazy.
It's liberal. It's a little more liberal.
Yeah, you can't smoke a cigarette in your car and drive within city limits. They had some weird stuff going on.
Well, that's where Mork and Mindy was filmed.
In Boulder, Colorado?
Yep.
I love Colorado, though.
It is pretty. I like the Front Range. That area was definitely a lot more
Front Range mountains. It's not far from the mountains, right? Boulder's pretty close.
Yeah, you got like the mountains and you got Boulder, Fort Collins. You know what I mean? You're close.
It's kind of like you've got the Front Range, like you get Fort Collins all the way down to Pueblo. It's kind of like Utah. We have Ogden, all those cities. They hug the west side of the mountains where. All of them, they hug the east side of them.
East side.
Same situation. Yeah.
Okay.
Denver, a little farther away from the mountains. I mean, I lived in Denver, and is like I never got up to the mountains very much. When I lived in Ogden, dude, I was there all the time.
Yeah,
you're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they call that? The front.
The bench.
The bench. Yeah, we lived on the bench there. Olin, Ogden, the Wasatch Mountains. Pretty cool. So, all right. Any other sports news from you guys? Fighting, football. We're gonna get to the NBA though pretty soon. My Lakers are 9-4 right now. But I don't have I haven't done my research to really talk to you in depth about the NBA quite yet.
Okay.
So we'll get there. We'll get there that time of year. So any other sports stuff? Any stuff you guys encountered over the weekend?
No, nothing over the week other than deer season started Saturday in Missouri, firearm season. So
I'm thinking about going deer hunting.
Yeah.
You want to go deer hunting?
No.
No?
I'll go shoot guns. Like I said, I love to shoot the handguns. Boom.
Yeah.
That makes me like therapeutic, like feel manly, and I'm good to go there.
Yeah. What about a crossbow?
Never done the crossbow before.
Me either.
I just getting up. I'm not a morning person, and then just going out and sitting there in silence and then killing something I'm not a big murderer, like.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
Like I love to eat meat. I'm fine with someone else murdering them, but like myself, I'm not the biggest killer of animals.
Well, I mean, I've got 3 deer heads and some antlers on my wall. I mean, I've collected a few male deer carcasses over the years, but anyways, in celebration of deer hunting, the BNC world record non-typical white-tailed deer was shot in northern St. Louis County in Missouri in November 15th of 1981, and here's the picture of him. He's a big boy there.
Dang.
1981.
Yeah, shot. Well, actually, this one wasn't really shot. The guy had got a buck, and he was driving home, and he found this deer. Like this buck was like just dead, lying in the fence, and so he, of course, called the game warden, and they all did a thing, and he got the landowner's permission to get the deer, and they actually donated the antlers to the Missouri Department of Conservation. So, I guess supposedly at the Missouri Department of Conservation, they actually have the antlers on display.
Huh.
So
pretty cool.
But it was a. What was it was rated, it was score of 333 7/8. That's the record for a non-typical buck in Missouri. The largest one I ever got was an 8-point. I got my first mount was an 8-point. My dad got in about 11 or 12 years ago. Then I got an 8-point in 2016, and I got an 8-point in 2021, and I got those hanging on the wall. And I got my first buck I ever shot was like a little 7-point, and I just took the antlers and I got it hanging on my wall, and some other antlers my dad got too, and I got it hanging on the wall too.
That European mount?
No, it's just the antlers.
Just antlers, yeah.
Yeah, you just get a plaque, and you have a little plastic cover. And
you are manly, Greg Walden. I can't deny that. So, praise God.
And deer meat's delicious too.
I like the deer jerky, the deer meat. Yeah.
Oh, deer chili is, man. I tell you what, deer chili is amazing.
I know you're not for doing the whole thing in jerky.
You do?
I want. That's what
I
would
no, you
do.
want? Yeah, just do all. Yeah.
Like 300 pounds of jerky.
Hey, let's get into some spiritual talk from killing deer to spiritual life.
Interesting transition.
Yeah. God loves a sacrifice, man. Read that Old Testament, dude. He had some awesome Holy Ghost barbecues back in the day that he called his people to. I want to talk about prayer for just a moment, the power of prayer. I don't want to read. I'm going to try to read this. I don't think this is super confidential because it's from a while back. But, sometimes you get phone calls on your phone from like old numbers or old area codes. At least I do. And sometimes it's just spam or whatever it is. But anyway, my wife, actually not me, but she got this call from a number in Utah and kept calling and calling. She's like, Jesus, is an emergency? It was during church yesterday, so that's why she didn't get a chance. But so this lady was intending to try to message me. And I'm not saying this for my glory. I'm trying to say this about the power of prayer. So listen to this story. She says, hey, Pastor Rachel, this is blank blank from Utah. You were our pastors in 2016. I don't have a phone number for Pastor Jeremiah, but I wanted to call him and thank him again for praying for me when my brother passed away November 17, 2016. So Sunday was November 17th. And that was a reminder for me today. I just wanted to tell him thank you again. I really appreciated that. My son Donald from Florida also passed away November 17, 2023. Tell Pastor Jeremiah that I really appreciate him, and I do you too, Rachel. You are the best ever. So God bless you and thank you. You don't have to respond to this if you don't want to, but my phone number is blank, blank, blank. But just a great big thank you to you and a great big love to you and the whole family. And I just know that God is using you mightily. And so I just thought that was cool, man. I know this lady and I remember her. It's not like, who in the world is that? But I don't remember necessarily what she's talking about. I don't remember this prayer time she's talking about, right? But that marked her. It marked her so much that she's calling me. What did she say? 2016.
16, yeah.
16. So 8 years.
Yeah.
So she's waking up on November 17th, 8 years later, and being like, I remember the prayer that guy prayed for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it is.
I'll never forget it. And I forgot it. I'm not saying it wasn't powerful to me, but I'm just saying like this is the power of prayer. And this is what happens when we as Christian men and as Christians pray for other people. It makes a difference. Number one, God hears prayer and answers prayer. And what I'm trying to get at today in this minute point is just to say, your prayers are powerful. They're heard by God. And the prayers you pray for other people, you don't know how powerful of an effect it could have on them, their life, and their situation.
Well, the question is, between all three of us, how many of us, three of us, are actually saved today because somebody was praying for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was.
Yeah, yep. I know I was. And I'm telling you, I had the blessing of having a grandma and a great grandma who are both like super prayer warriors. I mean, my grandma, you didn't care who you were. You the postman, dad. You walked in her front door. She sat your hiney down.
Yeah.
She pulled out a 500-pound Bible, and she would read it, and she prayed. And the stories I heard because my grandpa was in World War II. He fought on the Pacific side of World War II. And I know my great-grandma, she was praying. She was on her knees praying every night. And the miracles that God worked halfway across the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is one miracle I heard about. Like my grandpa was, he's obviously a grunt. He was laying down, and a Japanese grenade landed right next to him and stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been dead. He should have been dead. But all of a sudden, after it stopped, moved away. I mean, he still got hurt, but didn't kill him.
Right.
But had it went off next to him, he would have killed him. And so my grandma was praying. It's like, but grandma was over there praying halfway across the world.
Yep.
And God was moving on her behalf across the world in situations. My dad, he was praying for my dad when he was in Vietnam. Dad, he had a I think I heard a story Mom told me about, like a cougar or a panther, whatever it was, one of the big cats over. Mm-hmm. Almost got him. And then one night, this was freaky. Dad, of course, he's just getting him in the military, so he was in the Air Force, but he's an airman, basically like a private. Was supposed to do guard duty. So he's out getting ready for guard duty, getting the stuff ready. And this guy says, "Hey, man, I'll do your guard duty for you." Dad's like, "No, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I'll take care of it." No, the guy said he insists. So Dad's like, "Okay." So that night, the Viet Cong overran and killed that guy.
Really?
That took my dad's place.
Wow.
I mean, the prayers. I'm saying, I'm not trying to diminish the guy who died.
No.
I'm saying that situations intervened where God spared, people, because somebody else was praying.
Yep.
I mean, we could probably go on here all night think how we prayed and God moved. So prayer isn't just like, that's not just the words that you utter. It's the most powerful weapon you've got as a Christian. And we don't use it. And we don't use it. We think it's a last resort, but we actually should be our first resort.
You got any good prayer stories like that?
I've seen a lot of answered prayer, and actually an hour or right around there, like as I was loading this last trailer, I was thinking about there's recently been some a lot of answered prayer that I've seen. So there's this guy that I work with. He had like massive problems with his neck. He was going to have to have surgery. I mean, if he had surgery, it was like a 50-50 shot. I mean, he was just in pain all the time, just like, oh my gosh, And so I was like, you want me to pray for you? He's like, no, everybody's prayed and prayed and prayed, right? Uh-huh. He's a Christian guy, And so he had just taken on this new role in this department at work. So the other day, and I just went, and I went privately by myself, and I prayed for him, And so the other day I was like, how's your neck doing? He's like, oh, it's good. He's like, I got to go see the doctor and this and that. And where it didn't happen, like, very quickly, you know what I mean? I was thinking about this as I was loading this truck, like, maybe God doesn't move at, like, our time, but that prayer was answered, you know what I mean? I knew a bunch of people were praying for him, and maybe he doesn't really realize that. He's just like, oh, I feel good now.
Yeah, right.
And then, like my best friend John, he, like, liver cancer, it was bad to where they're like, we can't give you chemo. You know what I mean? He was just that far gone. And then they're like, we're going to give you this immune therapy. And I mean, it was close to where, like, they gave him the first one and didn't know if we was going to make it to the second one. And he's doing phenomenal.
What?
I mean, like, literally answered prayer.
Yeah.
And then there's this other guy that I work with. He had double kidney failure, and he was on Facebook, and I was like, what's going on? He's like, just please pray for me. I mean, he was calling out to God on Facebook, like, please, people, pray for me. Jesus, I know you're real. Help me. And then from what I've learned, usually people, if they go, and then he's on dialysis. When they're on dialysis, they pretty much have to stay on it.
Yes, right.
He's back at work.
Wow.
And I told him, I was like, "Your answered prayer,"
Yep.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
I
just
see it, and this is just within the past couple weeks.
yep.
So
And I'm trying to like, this is my little piece of advice for myself, but for other people too. It's like, I'm really trying to, even if it's just like simple, like if I think about someone, I just verbally just say a prayer.
yes,
Like right there.
yep,
I prayed for you today. I prayed for you. I have Greg Wallen today.
Yep.
Like Rodney, guy named Rodney today. Just every time I thought of someone,
yep,
like I'd just be like, God, just bless him today. Just whatever,
Absolutely.
like I don't know. Just like I'm thinking of them for a reason. Whatever. They just I'm trying to be like, that person just didn't come to my mind for
yeah, no apparent reason,
any other reason.
absolutely.
So I just keep praying. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Prayer's a powerful thing. So
Yep.
And I could even one of my biggest testimonies I have as a Christian was an answer to prayer. Because back when I was going through the divorce of my ex-wife, and I was trying to get custody. I was working to get custody of my daughter. I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm not trying to dog anybody out or throw anybody under the bus. But I'm just saying that the daughter wasn't in a bad situation. She wasn't probably in a good situation if I didn't get her out of there. But so I prayed, went through this thing, and then we went to court on it was on July of July of '98. We sat there all day long, all day, and then got to 5 o'clock, and the guy's like, "Yep, sorry, I can't hear your case. If you'd went there, you would have walked out with your daughter today. If you walked there, man, it just blew my. I mean, I was emotionally shot, dude. I drove home, man. I was honest. I actually started crying. I got home, I was crying. All of a sudden, God gave me like this verse, like Jeremiah 4:12 says, "A wind too strong for this, for these will come for me. Now I also speak judgment against them." I'm like, I don't. I say, so I even talked to my pastor. I was like, this is why I never read this verse my whole life. Like this, I was like, what does it mean? And he's like, well, I mean, if it's from God, you'll know eventually, And so 6 months later, a tornado comes and flattens the courthouse. I'm like, whoa, that's interesting. And so the case got actually moved up a day earlier. And so we went in there. They didn't show up. Everything went and blah, blah, blah. And I walked out with my daughter.
Nice.
I was like, boom.
Praise
man.
God.
I was like, boom.
yeah.
I was like, that thing is like that verse came true. I ain't saying this specific, obviously this specific verse, was probably written for something else, whoever wrote it. But I'm just saying that prayer was answered. And I was like,
Yeah.
Through just reading a verse, it was like I couldn't explain it, man. I was like, boom. I was like, whoa.
And I wish I could say, I wish I could say it was me that makes the prayer so powerful, but it's not. It's God,
it's
right?
God, it's God,
And so,
He
but
gets
I
the
do love how Friend described it way back in the days. God's supernatural, and that He's super, meaning He does the super stuff, and it's natural in that we get to partner with this stuff. So, that we get to play a role, we get to pray. So never underestimate prayer. Try it tomorrow. Try it tonight before you go to bed. Try it when you're driving in your car.
Yep.
Try it when you're just.
Right.
Whatever, try it when you're with someone, when you're with that person, because it could be something too, like someone you're afraid to like share the gospel with, or someone maybe they're not there.
Yep.
They might be open prayer, and then all of a sudden God does something in their life. They're like, oh, I'm going to get saved now. That could really happen.
Right. And with my prayers, I kind of like with me, how I do it is kind of like how I like to do it is I really like to, I was talking about 1 Thessalonians 5:18, where it says, give thanks in everything. For this is the will of God. Give thanks in everything, for this is the will of God for you in Christ Jesus. And so I want to model my prayer with the first saying, giving thanks to God.
Yes.
Because I want to come to God with a thankful heart. I mean, that's probably a model for prayer, is coming to God first with acknowledging who He is, giving praise to God, giving thanks to God, versus, hey, God, this is me, I want this, or I want that. No, first I want to come to God, say, thank you, God, for who you are.
Absolutely.
I want to be thankful for who you are, what you've done for me. Thank you for your Son, Jesus. Thank you for your grace and mercy that you bestow to me, which I do not deserve.
Yep.
And just kind of like, that's me. That's how I like to approach when I start my prayer.
I agree 100%.
Final thoughts there for us, Jake Waters?
I think it's really good. I think we got to pray all that. I agree with all of it. Prayer is super important. And He said, whatever you ask in my name, I'll give it to you.
Definitely. Keep praying, guys. Keep praying, men, women, whoever's listening. So there you go. I think the recap of the show is, let's see, the Chiefs lost.
Yep. Josh Allen.
We don't want to see Jake Paul fight anymore.
Yeah.
The Colorado Buffs are awesome.
John Jones is the GOAT.
I'm a 3-time cornhole champion.
Yep.
God answers prayer. There we go.